My name is Grace Myers. I'm 36 years old. 20 years ago, my parents threw me out of the house for getting pregnant in 10th grade. 16 years old. November rain, one suitcase. My mother pointing at the door, telling me I no longer existed to them. That same night, they signed papers erasing me from the family, me and any child I might ever have. I kept those papers. I kept everything. For 2 decades, I was invisible. They told everyone I'd moved overseas, built their spotless reputation on the grave of the daughter they abandoned. Then last week, they appeared at my door, desperate, smiling, insisting on meeting their grandson, a grandson they'd boasted about for months, to 200 of their most influential friends. They offered me $250,000. They had no clue that the grandson they'd been promising everyone didn't exist. And what they discovered instead would shatter everything they'd spent 50 years building. Portland, Oregon, November 2004. I was 16, a sophomore at St. Catherine's Academy, and the youngest child of Richard and Diane Myers. On paper, we were the perfect family. My father ran a thriving real estate law firm downtown, Myers and Associates, founded 1987. My mother had served as president of the Parent-Teacher Association for 4 straight years. We sat in the front pew at Grace Fellowship Church every Sunday, dressed in matching outfits my mother picked out each Saturday night. But every family has its order, and I learned mine early. Nathan, my older brother, was 22 and in his 3rd year of dental school. He was the pride of the family, the son destined to carry on the Myers name. Carolyn, 20, was training to become a teacher. The beautiful daughter who never questioned anything. And then there was me. I was what my mother once called the surprise, born when she was 34, 6 years after she thought she was finished having children. I don't think she ever forgave me for disrupting her plans. The signs were subtle, but constant. Family portraits displayed prominently in the living room somehow never included my school pictures. Dinner conversations revolved around Nathan's clinical rotations or Carolyn's student teaching placement. When I mentioned making the honor roll, my father would nod and say, "That's nice, Grace," before turning back to Nathan. I learned to make myself small, to ask for little, to need little. My father had a saying he repeated at every family gathering: "Reputation takes 20 years to build and 5 minutes to destroy." I didn't understand then how prophetic those words would become, or that I would be the 5 minutes he feared. I met Marcus Webb at the public library downtown. It sounds ordinary, but for me, the library was sanctuary, a place where no one measured me against my siblings or reminded me of expectations I could never meet. I went there 3 afternoons a week, supposedly to study, but really, just to breathe. Marcus attended Jefferson High, the public school my parents would never acknowledge existed. He was 17, worked part-time at his uncle's auto repair shop, and had the kindest eyes I'd ever seen. He found me crying in the biography section one October afternoon after my mother had forgotten to pick me up from school for the 3rd time that month. "Hey," he said, sliding into the chair across from me. "You okay?" No one had asked me that in a very long time. We dated secretly for 2 months. He was gentle and patient and made me feel like I mattered, like I was someone worth remembering. October 28th, 2004. I'll never forget staring at that pregnancy test in the bathroom of a gas station 3 miles from my school. 2 pink lines. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. When I told Marcus, he didn't run, he didn't make excuses. He held my hands and said, "We'll figure this out together, Grace. You're not alone." I wanted to trust him. Part of me did. But I knew my parents. I knew what mattered to them. And I knew that when I told them, their first question wouldn't be, "Are you okay?" It would be, "What will people think?" I decided to tell them at Sunday dinner. I didn't know it would be the last meal I'd ever eat in that house. Sunday, November 14th, 2004, 7:32 p.m. The roast beef was overcooked. I remember that detail because I was staring at it, searching for the courage to speak while my father complained about a property dispute and my mother tallied which families would attend the church Christmas gala. I have something to tell you. The table went silent. 4 faces turned toward me. My parents, Nathan home for the weekend, Carolyn visiting from college. I was 8 weeks pregnant, and I couldn't hide it much longer. I'm pregnant. My mother's fork clattered against her plate. My father didn't flinch. Who is the father? His voice was ice. Is it someone from St. Catherine's? Someone we know? His name is Marcus Webb. He goes to Jefferson High. He works at the public school. My mother's face had drained of color. You've been seeing a boy from the public school. He's a good person, Mom. He is. He comes from a good family. My father cut in. What does his father do? He lives with his uncle. He works at an auto shop. The silence that followed lasted exactly 11 seconds. I counted. Then my father stood. You will not keep it. Richard, my mother started. She will not destroy everything we've built. He looked at me like I was a stranger, like I was something that needed to be removed. If you keep that baby, you are no longer part of this family. By 9:15 p.m., I was standing on the front porch with one suitcase, rain soaking through my sweater. My mother had opened the door and pointed outside. Not my father. My mother. Nathan and Carolyn watched from the upstairs window. Neither came down. I called Marcus from a payphone at the gas station on Malbury Street. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely dial. He picked up on the second ring. Grace, what's wrong? They kicked me out. 20 minutes later, his uncle's truck pulled up to the gas station. Marcus jumped out before it fully stopped, wrapped me in his jacket, and held me while I sobbed into his chest. I've got you, he said. I've got you. We didn't have a plan. We had $300 between us, a truck with questionable brakes, and nowhere to go. That's when Margaret Torres saved my life. She was our neighbor, 3 houses down from the Myers residence, 62 years old, retired schoolteacher, the only person on our street who didn't treat my father like he owned everything. She'd seen me standing in the rain from her window. She'd watched long enough to understand. You can stay with me, she said when I knocked on her door at nearly 10 o'clock at night. As long as you need. 2 weeks. That's how long we stayed in Mrs. Torres's guest room before Marcus found us a studio apartment in Seattle. $425 a month above a laundromat that smelled like bleach and secondhand hope. My parents had their lawyer draw up papers the night they threw me out. I know because my father mailed me a copy 3 days later. Certified mail, signature required, like I was a business transaction. The document stated that Grace Elizabeth Myers forfeited all inheritance rights, and the Myers family bore no legal or moral obligation to her or any child born to her. I kept that paper. I've kept it for 20 years. Lily Grace Myers Webb was born on July 6, 2005, at Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. 7 pounds, 4 ounces, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Her father's brown eyes and my stubborn chin. She came into the world screaming, and I thought, good, scream. Make them hear you. Don't ever let anyone make you small. The first 5 years were a blur of survival. Marcus worked double shifts at a repair shop in Ballard while I finished my GED, then began community college classes, 2 at a time, whatever I could manage around Lily's schedule. We lived on ramen noodles and free bread from the day-old bin at the bakery down the street. I learned to sew patch onto patch to make a dollar stretch until it begged for mercy. I sent my parents a birth announcement when Lily was born. No response. I sent a photo on her first birthday. Silence. By her second birthday, I stopped trying. Marcus and I never married. We kept saying we would someday, when we had money for a real wedding. When life finally settled, someday kept getting postponed. Then on March 15th, 2010, a delivery truck ran a red light on Aurora Avenue. Marcus was driving home from a night shift. The police officer who came to my door said he died instantly. He was 26 years old. Lily was 4. The life insurance policy Marcus had through work paid out $12,000. That was it. $12,000 for 26 years of a good man's life. I was 22, a single mother with a 4-year-old daughter, $12,000 and absolutely no one to call. I could have given up then. I didn't. I'd started taking on small interior design projects while Marcus was alive, decorating apartments for neighbors who couldn't afford professionals, staging homes for real estate agents willing to. Take a chance on a young mother with no credentials. People said I had an eye for it, a gift for making even small spaces feel like home. After Marcus died, I threw myself into that work as if my life depended on it. Because it did. In 2012, I met Eleanor Vance at a design workshop at Seattle Central College. She was 52, recently retired as creative director of a major design firm and looking for a project. For reasons I still don't fully understand, she chose me. "You have talent," she said after reviewing my portfolio. "Raw, unpolished, but real. Let me help you shape it." By 2014, with Eleanor's mentorship and a $50,000 SBA loan that took me 3 attempts to secure, I founded Hearth Home Interiors. Our first office was a converted closet in a shared workspace. By 2018, 8 employees. Revenue, $1.2 million. In 2022, Seattle Met Magazine ran a feature on me, From Teen Mom to Design CEO, Grace Myers' Story.